This is day 66 of Live in Grace, Walk in Love by Bob Goff. If you feel to check out this series or our other series, Jesus Calling by Sarah Young, I highly suggest both of them. These are both 365-day devotionals if you'd like. Keep up with us here or grab your own copy. Either way, God bless. Day 66, chapter 66 says, "What brings us to tears will lead us to grace. Our pain is never wasted." Psalms chapter 30, verse 5 says, "Weeping may stay for the night, but rejoicing comes in the morning." Amen. Childhood for me was full of BB guns and climbing trees and scraped knees and be back home in time for dinner. I never thought about utility bills or the mortgage payments or taxes or how much blue jeans cost. When I heard my dad mention he was changing the oil in the car, I hoped he was installing something to cause an oil slick behind him like Batman. Parents work hard to shield their kids from the real world until they're old enough to understand it, but eventually, something happens. It might be a big disappointment that makes you feel like the real world is crashing in, or an even bigger responsibility that causes you to play at a much higher level. It's all part of growing up, I suppose. I've never met a single person who's avoided this shift. The weight of growing up can be immense. Balancing a life, a few relationships, a career, and the uncertainty of it all can feel overwhelming. I've come to understand, though, that what brings us to tears will lead us to grace. God takes the weights off the pressures and disappointments in our lives and turns them into the very things that anchor us in our faith. We saw this happen in the life of Jesus. He experienced the same sadness we feel, and he endured it so we would know God can sympathize with our sadness. He doesn't judge us or expect us to bounce back from sorrow. He gets down into it with us. The night before Jesus gave his life for us, he kneeled in a garden and cried as he prayed for the painful night to pass. But he didn't skip over it, even though he could have. He knew grace was on the other side of his grief. When we can't see past our sorrows, we can trust God is traveling with us, with his love. The question that we asked you to sit with for a couple minutes that directly correlates with today's devotional says, what are you sorrowful about today? And an extended question that I'm going to ask you that's out of this book, not on here currently. Why are you sorrowful about that? Have you prayed about it? Have you knelt before God? Have you spent time trying to figure out what can you do in your control that can make that situation any better? And if you don't have anything else to make that situation any better, give it to God and quit worrying about it. For he opens and closes the right doors. God bless.